Oh, what place is that?
Thanks, babe. Love you.
I showed Janae the pictures you sent me. Oh, she freaked out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cache Valley Freedom Fest. We are grateful to have you all gathered here with us tonight. Tonight is a night to honor and to remember and to celebrate. We hope you've had a chance to tour the Vietnam Memorial Wall and the other tributes to the cost of freedom that are over in the other part of the park. If you have not, spend some time there after tonight, after the program tonight. That wall will be up through Sunday. Enjoy the feeling of walking on sacred ground. I am Staff Sergeant Les Patterson, retired member of the Cache Valley Veterans Association, who's the organizer behind everything that you see tonight. And we'll have a chance to hear from that organization in just a little bit. We're going to kick things off tonight with a performance of Semper Fidelis March by the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band, led by Mr. John Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will please rise as we pay tribute to our country with a Pledge of Allegiance and then a performance of the national anthem by the Barbershop Quartet, the Four Hymns. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave. Oh, the land of the free, land of the free, and the home of the brave.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to the Four Hymns for that beautiful rendition of National Anthem. And thanks again to the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band, who will be performing several pieces for us tonight. As I mentioned earlier, we are here tonight to honor and to remember those that have served our country and those that have paid that ultimate price for the freedoms that we hold so dear, and offer those freedoms that we end up taking for granted because they are a normal part of our life. As we walk the Vietnam Memorial Wall replica, and as we walk amongst those other memorials that are over there that pay tribute, we honor and remember those that paid that price. Well, tonight is also about honoring and remembering those veterans that are still with us, those veterans that continue to serve, those veterans that struggle to find a place to call home, those veterans that may struggle with mental illness, with PTSD, with addiction, with homelessness. Well, here in our community, we have an organization that is dedicated to be able to support those veterans at all levels, no matter what those veterans need. The Cache Valley Veterans Center and the Dan Gillenskog Resource Center is there to help veterans, everything from getting access to appropriate medical care, mental health care, to getting access to having a place to live when they don't have a place to live. The Cache Valley Veteran Resource Center mans a 24-hour crisis hotline for veterans right here in this area. And one thing that's unique, and we're going to bring up Phil Redlinger with the director and CEO of the Cache Valley Veterans Center to talk about the mission that they have and how they've come about and they've created the only physical resource center in the state of Utah is right here in Cache Valley. That's a big tribute to what Phil and Rick Fillmore and others have done to be able to serve our veterans. You being here tonight is part of that. You'll notice we've got little placards around our gathering here. They're over on the other side. It's a Venmo code on there. That Venmo code is an opportunity for you to scan that code and give $1 to serve a soldier. Give $1 to make a difference. Give $1 to raise funds to support the Cache Valley Veterans Center. With that, will you please join me in welcome up Phil Redlinger?
He's kind of tall, right? Thank you very much for coming out. This is the second year that we've done this, and we get bigger every year, and we start working the best we can and doing the better services that we can. Thanks, Les, for having me out. Also, thanks for Sunset Mortuary for setting this up, and Skyview. Thank you guys so much. The band, you guys are awesome. Really appreciate it. The American Legion, thanks for participating with us as well. We got veteran-owned booths, by the way. They're out here. They got some amazing artwork. It's veteran-owned solar panel company. We've got Seth Newman and his amazing, firearms and certain things like that helped us out. And we've got our own veteran-owned, our CVA booth back behind you that's got the CVA Freedom Festival shirt. And don't forget to stop by Kona Ice and grab yourself some cool, refreshing ice. But the reason why I'm up here is to tell you a few minutes about the Dan Gillenskog Veterans Resource Center. So Les is right. We are the first in the state of Utah, but we're also the first in the nation. In fact, I just learned that a new Veterans Resource Center had opened up in Atlanta. Our goal is to do the best we can on serving veterans in a rural community. We've actually served well over 3,000 veterans since opening on July 28th last year, and we continue to do amazing work and effort. We work on focusing on mental health and suicide awareness. We focus on homelessness and getting veterans connected to counselors and resources. We had an amazing Veterans Resource Fair a few weeks ago that literally brought the VA from the national office with 6 amazing partners and services within the VA. That took me 10 years to get that up here. And over the last 10 years for me in Cache Valley, the intent was to improve, optimize, and create new services for veteran service members and their families. And that's where you guys come in. This Veterans Resource Center literally took me 10 years. It took me 2 years to build because of COVID. It took us 5,000 man hours of donated labor, sweat, and tears and opening up and construction work. It's been amazing. My team has been doing a lot of work. We've had a lot of volunteers come and go, but the work never stops. And that's the one promise I made is I will not stop until everything is done. And of course, that never ends, right? So we already know that. This Veterans Resource Center is a 5,000 square foot facility. It's got a full kitchen. It's got a living space. The coffee pot is on for those that drink coffee. There's always water in the fridge. We've got conference room that's filled for folks that come in and staff. The idea is to make sure that veterans don't have to bounce to get some help. they can come into the center and get some help, but they can also find a sense of purpose and get that help. The idea is finding our partners who provide services that get funded by the VA and help them by giving them the veterans to serve. That's the optimized part. The creating new is what doesn't exist. So Cache Valley Veterans Association about 10 years ago started a homeless program for veterans. We'll put a veteran into a hotel for up to 2 weeks, provide intensive case managed services, and help them find permanent supported housing. And we look at every extreme funding possible, from the VA all the way to the Homeless Veterans Fellowship, all the way up to, Pocatello and their homeless services. We work with Bragg in the community. So it's a lot of work. At the end of the day, it's a lot of fun at the same time. I mean, there's a lot of things that we do. The need is very important. Our mental health is huge and crucial. Like everybody else, we're dealing with the mental health crisis. Ever since COVID, things have started shutting down. Can't find enough therapists. And a lot of folks are, taking their lives. There's a lot of things going on there. We just had a veteran that attempted last night. There's a lot of things going on in Cache Valley for the veteran population. And my organization, myself, my team, my partners, we're talking Family Place, CAPSA, New Hope Crisis, Bear River Mental Health, Bragg, Department of Workforce Services, Utah State University. Everybody's coming together to help Cache Valley Veterans Association in serving our veteran population. A lot of people don't know this, but there's well over 15,000 veterans. Literally, I'm looking at so many people saying, what? Really? Yeah, little 15,000 veterans. We serve veterans in Box, Cache, Rich, Franklin County. We have veterans that come from Wyoming. We've had a few veterans come from Colorado, Great Falls, Montana, and we have some veterans that come from Washington State. Literally, we have veterans that come in our area. The reason why that is because we are an all-encompass one-stop center. So if you imagine Workforce Services, Bragg, CAPSA, Family Place, USU, and the VA in one location, that's what we do. And we help our veterans find a sense of purpose. We have a volunteer that has been a shut-in for 11 years. He's coming into our building and helping other veterans. We've got other veterans that are 100% permanent and total that need something to do, and he's chosen to come in and, he's just amazingly helping our young ones and our older ones. We serve veterans from all populations as well. We're focusing on opening up satellite sites. We actually had a group from Price, Utah that said, hey, I like your model. Can you help us? We've got a group in Spokane, Washington. They're a homeless shelter group, and they're losing their facility. They're asking us if we can help them open up a satellite site there. We're doing really good work, and we've really got some good success stories. But this Veterans One-Stop Center, if you've ever been to it, you need to come by and check it out. We're in North Logan, right next to Rocky Mountain Dermatology. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. And so we're trying to get the word out. A lot of people don't know we exist. Now, the reason why we're doing this today, for one of two reasons. One, we're focusing on the most important issues that veterans deal with daily, mental health. And last week, I had a count of how many veterans had attempted suicide. 17 last week, between Tuesday and Wednesday. And I had one last night. We had one a few days ago. And our problem is we don't have enough veterans mental health services in Cache Valley that would support the veteran, and or you have to drive to Salt Lake City. So we're trying to improve that service, and we're trying to become a permanent footprint for you guys in Cache Valley. This is an intense situation that we need to have done. And you guys are a part of this mission. We need you to help us. The Veterans Resource Center was donated by Rocky Mountain Dermatology and Dr. Young. He decided to help us. He said, Phil, I'll donate the center to you if you complete the build out. And after 2 years, you have the option of leasing the building for an additional 5 or purchase the center. That was a year ago that we should have purchased the center and or leased it. Because of COVID, we haven't been able to apply for grants. Because of COVID, the construction took us 2 years to build. because of COVID, the eligibility for the grant that we were going to have that could have bought the center went to ARPA. If you guys know what ARPA is, it's the American Relief Act. It basically took over COVID. So a lot of these big federal organizations that had this funding literally went into this big pot of money for ARPA COVID relief funds. So now we have to find ways to raise the funds. This building helps a veteran find a sense of purpose, saves a life, obtains employment, gets their VA eligibility benefits, and continues serving. We spent $183,000 in the last 6 months helping the entire community put homeless families who were impacted by COVID into hotels. That was a grant that we were eligible to apply for, and that was for the universal population. We did a lot of work. We do a lot of work. We love the work we're doing, but we have a lot of success behind what we're doing, and we love taking care of our brothers and sisters. So that's where you come in. In order for us to be able to keep this building and make it permanent, we have to buy the building. So save a veteran and give $1 is that's our motto. And thanks to Les, sir, thank you very much for that. It was an amazing motto, and we're choosing to do the best we can on raising the funds, apply for grants, and keep this building alive. Dr. Young has been so gracious, and he's helping us as much as he possibly can. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure we're taking care of him as well. Dr. Young's also a Navy veteran. So if you see him in the community, tell him thank you very much for helping the Cache Valley Veterans Association. It's been a great ride. But our work is not done yet. So come on out to the Dan Jones Clark Veterans Resource Center. It's right next to Rocky Mountain Dermatology in North Logan. And I've got an amazing team of volunteers who keep the doors open, taking care of the veterans. We do intakes. We do intents to file. We complete benefit applications, VA enrollments. We have VA education benefits and voc rehab that goes on. We've got a lot of things. So this is a big deal. And Les, we're the first of its kind in the nation. Big deal.
It's a big deal.
Big deal. So I really appreciate you guys coming out. I think I've overstayed my 5 minutes. I'll see you guys again, but thank you so much for coming out, and please enjoy the show and the ceremony that's going to be happening. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is by far, I think, the most favorite part of any patriotic program, and it's our opportunity to join in with the Armed Forces Medley. This is a tribute to each of the branches. As the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band plays the march, the hymn from your branch, or from, if you have a loved one that is a member of the branch, we invite you to stand up and to clap along.
The Army. Navy. Coast Guard.
Marines. Air Force.
Thank you, Mr. John Edwards and the Good Time Marching Band of Cache Valley. Thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a brainchild also of a business here in the town that has had an incredible impact on veterans and on veterans' families because they're at the end of the life cycle for a lot of people, and it's Sunset Mortuary. And Ephraim Lance, who is the owner of that mortuary, is going to come and share some thoughts with us for a moment and kind of talk about how this all came together and the reason why it's come together. Ephraim.
I'm a little guy, so I have to find the shortest microphone. I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. This means a lot to all of us because this started out as somewhat of a chance meeting between us and the Cache Valley Veterans Association. I walked in there to take care of an item of business that had nothing to do with this, and we got to talking, and here we are in our second go around. So we're very proud and happy to be able to play a part in such an important work. Getting back to my thank yous. Thank you guys. Thanks to the Cache Valley Marching Band. Thank you for the auxiliaries, the American Legion, Les Patterson, excuse me, and then of course Phil and Rick and all of the boys over there at the Cache Valley Veterans Association. We feel honored to be a part of everything that they do, and we're looking forward to continuing on this work because, what do we have? We have a lot of difficulty in the world. We have a lot of hardship. And earlier just now when that was singing, I thought to myself, that's the first kind of normal American thing I've felt in a while. And it just feels good to be in a place where we can celebrate our country and celebrate the people who make our country possible. And I'm talking about the armed forces and the sacrifices, not only that the soldiers themselves, but the spouses and the families, the spouses that are home watching the kids and worried whether or not they're going to get a phone call from the Department of Defense. And there's just so many challenges that come with being a service member or a family member of a service member. And so I'd like to thank all of those families that make sacrifices to make all of this possible as well. My brother and I, so I get to do the talking. Hiram, later on, he's going to do the singing to you. But he and I came to town some years ago and with a dream of carrying on a legacy of a person that was our mentor and friend. And he instilled in us the importance of the human experience, the things that we all, the challenges that we all suffer day to day. This man taught me that whether it's a guy under a bridge living or whether it's a guy at a skyscraper mansion, that everyone has a life story, and everyone deserves to have that opportunity to be heard. And the stories that we collect as we go through our lives they're the things that hold us together, I believe. Hiram and I's story. And coming to town, we've struggled a lot, and we've had so many blessings and so many wonderful experiences, and we've grown to love the people of Cache Valley. And then it made it all the more sweet when we met the veterans out here, and we're trying to create something. We're trying to create a support system along with these veterans, and I can tell you by my association with them that these guys take it seriously. They're up in the morning, they stay late. They're constantly thinking about what they are trying to accomplish here in this valley. And Sunset Mortuary, my brother and I can speak for him. We're honored to be a part of this. We're honored to serve these men that and women that make such sacrifices for us. And so with that, I will again just tell everyone involved tonight, thank you so much for your efforts, sacrifices in time and resources, and let's have a great night. When we get through the ceremony, this next ceremony here is a sacred thing for us, and we just feel so blessed to be a part of it. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of your night.
With the help of Ephraim and Hiram and Sunset Valley Mortuary, the resources, the financial resources to be able to do tonight have been a major factor. They've been a major factor in doing that. That's part of why, again, we invite you to take some time while you're here tonight and scan the code that is on these placards around the group here. Save a veteran, give $1, maybe $2, maybe $5, maybe a little bit more. You know what would make a difference from your end, and think about the difference that's been made in your life from the support that you've received, particularly for those of you that are veterans. And if you're in a position where you can make a difference for another veteran by sharing a little bit of your time, sharing a little bit of your energy, a little bit of your love, sharing a little bit of your financial resources, tonight is a good night to be able to do that. And so with that, I would like to invite Phil Redlinger back up to the stage. Tonight, we have the opportunity to honor a veteran and a veteran family. And as part of this, I'd like to just tell you what's going to happen over the next few minutes so that you can be aware of it. Phil is going to come up and is going to pay tribute to the family. We've got a presentation that we'll give to them. And then I'm going to come back up, and we are going to have a moment of silence. And at that time, I'm going to invite you to stand up, because immediately after the moments of silence, there will be a rifle salute provided by the American Legion Post 47. Be aware that the rifle salute is firing blanks. You will see the rifles that are located right over here to my left and to your right. They will be pointed up in the air over you. Most of you are probably familiar with that. If there's any of you that are not, or if you have children, just be aware there will be a 3-round volley firing the rounds. And then immediately after that, there will be the performing of taps, the most sacred piece of music in American history. We invite you to stay standing and to stay reverent during that time. Veterans, we invite you to salute the flag while taps is being played. Phil.
All right, I'm back again. So every so often we get to work with a special family, and we have many scenarios that we deal with and circumstances. And this year we've been doing a lot of improving services focusing on mental health and awareness and improving our programs and finding ways to improve what we need to do and what we have to do. This year, we were able to meet a great family, the Thompson family. And Brian Thompson was a Marine who did amazing work in Cache Valley, worked with Big D Construction, provided services in construction. I think he was the project manager for a CAPSA facility. He worked with the Juvenile Justice Center and helped them build their facility, if I remember correctly. Brian was a big man, but he had a huge, heavy heart filled with love and joy. He was a Marine, rode his bike, his motorcycle, not a pedal bike. So he'd probably be with us today, and he will be with us tomorrow at the Michael J. Allred ride. But the family came in asking for some services and help. Brian had requested help from the VA after going through some military missions. He was overseas. He saw quite a few things, very intense. And Brian was dealing with some trauma and PTSD. What you guys don't realize is when a veteran goes to ask for help, and I've got a veteran sitting in front of me, then he'll agree with me. If the veteran's asking for help from the VA, 90% of the time, that veteran will not get the help. And I have learned that. And as a veteran myself, a disabled veteran myself, who served my country proudly, raised my arm, did what I was supposed to do because I wanted to, not because I had to. It was a plan. And Brian did the exact same thing. He served his country proudly. Being denied services after doing so at the VA, that's a hard thing a veteran can choke. And I guarantee you there's probably about 90% of the folks that are on this field that are veterans. So if you can imagine each and every one of us calling the VA and asking for help, there's your percentage. So I want to focus on Brian Thompson for a second, but I also want to focus on the family. Because as a veteran, when we come home, we don't come home by ourselves. We come home to our family, and we're part of a unit. So if the VA failed Brian, the VA also failed his family. Excuse me. What we need to do is we need to identify those issues and solve those problems. And tonight, we're going to pay respect and tribute and ask this family to come on up, please. This family has been through some hard times. And amazing family, by the way. They have their laughs, a lot of beautiful stories. And if you like to follow a family that likes to have fun outside in the outdoors, that really connects. Because Brian was a huge outdoorsman. Not only did he ride his motorcycle, but he loved his family very much. There's so many things I could tell you about this family. I'm not stalking them, I promise. But this is a very big, loving family. They came to us asking us for help on connecting to the VA. They needed to apply for benefits, survivor benefits, education benefits. Just even getting to the VA, they had to do that. And I can tell you right now, that was the biggest struggle I've ever had to deal with, because I didn't know how to get a veteran's family their benefits after the veteran had passed away. And the reason why I didn't know was because the veteran did not have any benefits. wasn't receiving anything. And usually when you have to fight that, you have to actually start over. And this family had to start over with the VA. And I believe they are still struggling to get help from the VA. So I just need you guys to understand, this is not a success story. We're going to go ahead and continue working with this family as much as possible. Not because we have to, but because we want to. So we're grateful to be a part of this family. We call them family. They are very welcome. We love them. We got Brian's photo on our wall. We think about that family all the time and Brian. Therefore, what we've done is we went ahead and had a family plaque put together with the American flag in it. And Brian is known as Big Country. So we're going to go ahead and provide this flag to the family. So bear with me. So please give them a round of applause. Now that was awesome. It's not just me doing the work, I promise you. This is my vision. This is my plan. But I have amazing people behind me every day doing the work and staying focused and serving our veterans. We will do everything we can to the best that we can to help each and every one of our veterans and service members and their families. Thank you very much for letting us help your family.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd please stand, please, as we have a moment of silence and recognize all those that have been lost to the ravages of war and to the ravages of war once a member of the military comes home. Thank you, ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to take a few minutes and to share just a couple of thoughts with you, and see if we can make a connection a little bit deeper about what we're doing here tonight, and the mission of serving and honoring our veterans, and why that's still important that we do that. And so through sharing a few remarks, I'm also going to introduce you to a couple of fun traditions within the military that have to do with the playing of a bugle. And we're going to start off with the very first one. And thanks to our friends with the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band, I'm going to introduce you to the bugle call of Reveille. A Reveille is that bugle call that starts the day out. And for those of us that are veterans, this is our time to stand and stand at attention and to render a salute to the American flag while Reveille is played. Reveille. Thank you. Hey, how about that? And that comes from somebody who has heard that probably many a time, many a time. Well, when one of the bugle calls plays on an active duty military base, depending on what the bugle call is, there is a mandatory requirement. And sometimes it could be a little challenging to fulfill that mandatory requirement. And that is you stop what you do. And if you're driving in a car, you stop, you get out of your car, and you face the flag, or you face where you know the flag is at, and you render a salute. So let's talk about the salute, and let's talk what precedes the salute, and that is the raising of the right arm. So every member of the military, those that are in the military today, those that are currently veterans, at some point, they stood before an officer of the United States military, and they swore an allegiance to protect and defend the Constitution. And so I would like if you would just mimic this with me for just a sec. Would you actually just raise your right arm with me? Raise it up like this. I want you to think for just a sec as your hand is there for just a few seconds what it means to swear allegiance to protect and defend at all costs. You put your arms down. Think about that. Every veteran raised his or her arm and said, I will. Whatever it takes, I'm willing to do that. Whatever it takes, our veterans have been willing to do that. I think most of us here tonight, we can appreciate the phrase whatever it takes to protect and defend at all costs. And we have a beautiful wall over there. We have a sacred wall over there that pays tribute to those that did whatever it took. Well, some of those veterans, particularly of our Vietnam veterans, whose their brothers are represented on that wall over there, didn't expect to come home and to be ridiculed for doing their job. Most of us today, except maybe the one or two that might be older than me, can understand what it's like to come home from serving your country and then to be ridiculed by your neighbors. Well, that's because for the most part, that doesn't happen today. We've learned it as a country that when a member of the military is asked to go do whatever it takes, that they're going to follow the orders that our country has given them to do. Well, sometimes coming home is a little hard. Sometimes some of those traditions can feel a little far away. We hear the call of reveille, or we hear taps played, and we get transported back. And we wonder if we belong. We wonder if anybody really understands the things that we had to do, because we may not understand what it is that we had to do. I'm grateful that I had a drastically different experience coming home from my time in Iraq than my father had coming home from Japan during the Vietnam War. He wasn't in Vietnam, but he served during that time, and he just came home when his time in Japan was done. And my father was ridiculed in such a way that it changed his life. And my father was one of those that struggled with some of the mental illnesses caused by PTSD, though he never spent a day in combat. When we raised our right arm, we were given the right to do that mission, whatever it takes. And we were given the right to participate in other traditions. So I would, if it's all right, those of you that are veterans, would you stand up with me one more time? And the rest of you in the audience, I'd like you to look at the veterans, not look at me, because I'm going to ask them to participate in a salute with me. Okay, now, they're not saluting me because I'm not an officer, but sometimes as soldiers, we do salute officers. But today, I would invite us to salute the flag of the United States of America. Watch the veterans, my friends. Notice the honor of how they raise and they salute. Present arms. Order arms. Thank you, veterans. I'd like to introduce you to another bugle call. At the end of the day, not quite at the full end of the day, but when it's time for lights out, there is a bugle call there's a bugle call tattoo. It's not the tattoo that is on your arm that a lot of military members tend to tell some of their stories by the stories they have on their arms or on their legs or shoulders or back. But this one's just, it's time to be done. All unnecessary lights are to be turned out. So from the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band, tattoo. And in just a moment, we're going to hear the final bugle call of the day that our two trumpet players will perform for us. So trumpet players, if you will move into position for that. At the end of the day, and also at the end of life of a military member, the sacred notes of taps are played to signify that the day has done and to signify a life is finished. We have in our audience tonight parents, friends, siblings, family members of those that have heard the rendition of taps at the end of a veteran's life. And we have at least one set of parents here who heard taps being played to signify the finish of the mortal journey of their son, Michael. Michael J. Allred is from Hyde Park, right here in Cache Valley. A neighbor of my wife and I's and our family, lived literally just down the street. Michael joined the Marine Corps, had opportunity to go around the world a little bit, and then 9/11, chance to go to Iraq. He was wounded on his first trip to Iraq, got a Purple Heart. When he came home, he was home at Christmas time. This was Christmas of 2003. He was getting ready to go back to Iraq, and I was getting ready to go to Iraq for the first time. Well, for myself, the only time. Michael and I had a chance to sit in his parents' front room and talk and visit. For a couple hours, we just sat there, and we got to have the conversation that most people don't get to have. Because we talked about the reality that I was to expect when I got over there. Michael was ready for that reality. He had already experienced it. And it's harsh. Well, Labor Day 2004, it was September 6th that year. Two uniformed Marines knock on a door in Hyde Park. And Brett and Zell Allred, they weren't home. The word quickly got to them. And they arranged to meet those two Marines. Michael's name is on a plaque over there representing as one of the thousands that have been killed in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. Michael's parents, Brett and Zell, are here with us tonight. And I invite you to just simply feel. As we listen to the sacred notes of taps, played in an echoing format with one trumpet, one bugle playing, and then the second bugle echoing. Let yourself feel. Feel not just the loss, feel the hope. Because there's nothing more incredible than this incredible country that we get to call home, the United States of America. The colors on the flag, they mean something. When those young men and young women, when they raised their arm to the square and they swore allegiance to do whatever it took. Michael, my friend Ron Wood, others, those that you know, they're willing to do whatever it took. Will you please stand with me again as taps is played for a final time tonight. Veterans, we invite you to render honors by saluting the flag of the United States of America. Present arms. Thank you, buglers. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. All right, we are going to move on and get ready to wrap up here. We're going to invite the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band. They are going to treat us to America the Beautiful, and then we're going to introduce you to the Spartan Pledge. Phil Redlinger, please.
Okay, everybody got a sheet of paper with them, right? So if you're out there in the grass, out in their field, I'd like to have you participate with this event. So if you're a veteran booth, if you're over there in Kona Ice, anybody out there, I need you all to come on up here and participate with us for a second. Did you guys get the... Come on and stand up with me and recite this with me. This is called the Spartan Pledge. I will not take my own life by my own hand until I talk to my battle buddy first. My mission is to find a mission to help my warfighter family. This is a pledge that we've been working on, and it's actually been out there in the East Coast. Veterans are actually reciting this pledge out in public, first responders and police. And I'd like to have you take that with you. And if you're working with a veteran or a service member, a police officer, a first responder, and they're having those issues, this is something I want you to share with them. Let's work together and start working on ending the suicide that's happening and the attempts. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending some time with us this evening. We are getting ready to wrap up the formal part of the Patriotic program. We're going to have a final piece of music from the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band. We're going to have a break, and then the band gets set up. After that, we've got the Katie Matthews Band coming up, and then the Off-Center Band will follow them. Again, a reminder, the reason we're here tonight is to recognize and honor those that have paid that final price and those veterans that continue to look for opportunities to be helped. You can make a difference with making a simple donation. Save a veteran, give $1, give $2, give $5, give what makes sense for you. It's really scan the code on the placards around the audience, make a difference to help the Cache Valley Veterans Resource Center. So let's wrap up tonight with Stars and Stripes Forever from the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Edwards and the Cache Valley Good Times Marching Band. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you stick around. We've got more music coming up just a little bit. Katie Matthews Band, the Off Center Band, and at 9 o'clock, the Off Center Band will take us into fireworks. Stick around and enjoy. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Going to take about 5 minutes. We're going to set up a little bit of stuff. You guys have been amazing.
Up here. Up here. Yeah. It again.